This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button for up-to-date immigration news. Indefinite leave to remain. This is what I'm going to be talking about today, and whether you've got breaks in your leave and whether you still qualify for indefinite leave to remain. Today in particular, I'm going to be summarising the new law following the new recent cases, which is actually favouring applicants who would have previously been refused indefinite leave to remain only a couple of years ago. So if you're thinking of making an application for indefinite leave to remain, or you think you might qualify for an application for indefinite leave to remain, or simply want some honest immigration advice, then please get in touch with me and I'll do my best to help you and at least tell you the truth about what your situation is. So now let's look at the different routes or the different cases and how they impact somebody getting indefinite leave to remain. The reason for this is that there have been several new cases on this subject recently which have dramatically changed the position from what it was not so long ago. These are all related to the requirement for somebody to demonstrate 10 years continuous lawful residence in the United Kingdom under paragraph 276b of the immigration rules. Something you might think is quite simple, but has turned out to have engaged the courts and engaged quite a lot of very clever people who've come to a lot of different decisions, and as a result has been the subject of a fair amount of litigation over the last few years, though it has generally been in the applicant's favour. Previously, the courts were very strict in respect of breaks in leave, very strict in leave. Indeed, if you ever had a time where you didn't have valid leave, for example, you applied for an extension of a visa a few days late, and even if it was granted, you would not have continuous lawful leave. It sounds absurd and it goes against the whole reading of the paragraph 276b. But this was the basis of a Court of Appeal decision called Masum Ahmed way back in 2019. Even if the Home Office had actually overlooked the gap in leave at the time the extension was granted, when it came to applying for indefinite leave to remain, the court found that any break, whatever it was, meant that you did not have continuous lawful leave to remain. And the Home Office relied on this in lots and lots of cases. Indeed, it was their standard go-to case to dismiss appeals. Thankfully, however, the Court of Appeal revisited this matter more recently in the case of Hock and then Asif. They confirmed that if you have gaps in your leave, but these have been bookended, you can rely on them when it comes to applying for indefinite leave to remain. They basically said that Masum Ahmed was decided wrongly, which is, if you read the decision of Masum Ahmed and you compare it to that of Hock, one is clearly far more superior, and that's the case of Hock, which is in the applicant's favour. In the case of Asif, the individual had a gap of some 507 days leave, and yet still qualified for indefinite leave to remain. Indeed, I've had cases where people have had gaps of 5 or 7 years and got indefinite leave to remain, but I'll come to that. A further positive development is where an appeal was lodged out of time, as this was considered to have broken someone's leave and taken them outside of the cases of both Hock and Asif. That's because once Section 3C leave ends, and if you appeal out of time, then you are an overstayer. However, in Asif, they found that if the appeal was lodged late but accepted as being in time for the purposes of the appeal, then this had the effect of bringing back to life somebody's leave under Section 3C at the date the appeal was lodged, something that was previously thought impossible. The court also commented that the period between the expiry of the time limit you had to apply for to appeal and the time you actually appealed, if the appeal was accepted, ought to be overlooked. These are fairly big changes to where we were with Masum Ahmed, which, as I've mentioned, the court in Hock found was wrongly decided, and the following cases build upon this and give more people the chance of getting indefinite leave to remain. As a result of these cases, I've been able to helpfully assist people in successfully getting indefinite leave to remain, whereas they wouldn't have if the case was considered under Masum Ahmed or not put forward properly. Finally, it is also worth mentioning that I've got a fair amount of success for people that were wrongly accused of cheating during the Toeic scandal with their English language tests. I've been able to get indefinite leave to remain for people who were refused visas way back in 2015 after the Home Office issued them with an IS 151A. These people had huge gaps in their leave, Often their leave ended in 2015 and the appeal was heard this year, but they still got granted indefinite leave to remain. So therefore, if you've been in the United Kingdom 10 years, you may well be able to get indefinite leave to remain even if there are gaps or late appeals. Contact me today if you have any questions in respect of whether you are eligible for indefinite leave to remain. Even if you do not qualify for indefinite leave to remain, you may have a perfectly good human rights claim based on your family, based on your life in the United Kingdom, based on your health. Something that you might not think you have, but you may well have. And you may well be living under the hostile environment. You may well be living in fear where you just simply don't need to. If you have any doubt whatsoever about your immigration status and you want some clear, straightforward advice, then please get in touch with me and I'll do my best to help you. Thank you for watching this video, which I hopefully provides a quick summary of the situation in respect of indefinite leave to remain. Please stay safe in these dangerous times. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you again. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.